So pathetic. Meghan and Harry's mouthpiece is trying to make us forget about the rift between Harry and Meghan and the rest of the family by claiming there are problems in the relationship between King Charles and his heir.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the King YouTube channel.
The more I hear about the contents of that stupid book Endgame, the more I am convinced that Harry and Meghan have completely lost the plot. I know that Scooby-Doo is claiming they had nothing to do with this book. I read somewhere in a headline recently that he's saying they haven't even spoken in 4 years. I mean, come on. Who else in the royal family, or who else that is close to the royal family, would dare speak to him at this point? We already know about finding freedom and the lies it contained, so we know all the lies in this new book came directly from two people, Harry and Meghan themselves. And according to The Sun, Scooby-Doo is even going after the relationship between the King and William. As reported in The Sun, Endgame by Omid Scobie attempts to portray a rift between King Charles and eldest son Prince William by claiming they are on a collision course to become rivals. The book comes out on Tuesday, and it also quotes an unnamed source who reportedly says that William views his dad as a transitional monarch. Scooby-Doo describes William and Charles as having clashing approaches and opinions, and one excerpt says their views, their outlooks are very different, and I can see that becoming an issue over the years ahead. Oh really, Scooby-Doo, you can see that becoming an issue, and how would you know anything about what you're talking about? Oh yeah, you don't. All the information that you get comes from Meghan and Harry, who were trying their best to go after the royal family. After Meghan and Harry themselves trashed the royal family time and time again, and it was met with skepticism and disbelief, they've decided to use Scooby-Doo as if that's going to make some difference. One of the biggest problems I see with the Montecito malcontents is they're trying to play a very sneaky game, but they don't know how to play it. They're not very good at it. They are so incredibly transparent. They need to stop trying to be sneaky. Honestly, it reminds me of my 3-year-old grandchild trying to steal cookies from the cookie jar and then lying when he said he didn't do it, but he had the crumbs all over his face. I mean, Meghan and Harry are just as bad. From what I have seen of the excerpts, though, it sounds like this book is going to be even worse than Spare in some ways. In the book, apparently, Scooby-Doo claims that Charles is a lavish spender who makes gobsmacking demands. And okay, fine, let him say what he wants about the king. But what I find really awful is the way he goes after Catherine, the Princess of Wales. He says that Catherine is pliable. The way he writes about Catherine is exactly the way that Meghan talks about Catherine, which makes us more than suspect that this royal insider is Meghan herself. Why are they always trying to make Catherine sound like this brainless Stepford wife who just does whatever they tell her to do and can't think on her own? It's not true. But it reminds me a lot of what Harry said in the Oprah Winfrey interview, when he said that his father and his brother were not really allowed to marry for love. They had to marry somebody appropriate who would be approved of by the family. Harry and Meghan are always trying to project their own issues onto other people. Just because they're unhappy in their marriage, they can't allow anybody else to truly experience happiness in theirs, even though the whole world can clearly see that William is head over heels in love with Catherine. And King Charles, I mean, come on, obviously he adores Camilla. I mean, come on, Charles went through absolute hell to be with Camilla. If that's not true love, I don't know what is. The former head of royal protection for the Met Police has weighed in on this, and he said, "This is clearly a hatchet job. I don't know the relationship between father and son, but they have always seemed close to me." He went on to say, "I wouldn't trust a word this Scobie says, and where he gets his sources from is debatable. People like this know it's very rare for the royals to comment, and we've had enough from Harry's camp for a lifetime. This is just another publicity-seeking stunt. This sounds like an attempt to drive a wedge between the king and William." I couldn't agree more. And one question I do have is, does Harry really think this is going to work? Does he really believe that his father and his brother are so gullible that they're going to believe what Scooby-Doo writes in this book and that is going to have some negative effect on their relationship? I mean, the idea itself is laughable. But it sounds like Scooby-Doo is trying to do exactly that. Royal expert Ingrid Seward said that Scobie's new book Endgame weaves a narrative that King Charles and eldest son William are increasingly at odds. Sometimes I try to give Harry the benefit of the doubt and think that maybe he's just been controlled by Meghan. But then other times, like now, I believe that he is just a nasty little twit who's trying to make his father and his brother's lives miserable. I mean, what is wrong with him? Just because he ruined the relationship with his own family, he can't let his brother enjoy a healthy relationship with their father. How pathetic can he be? Harry is a grown man who supposedly has children of his own. Why can't he just focus on that? Why is he so stuck in the past? Why is he still so obsessed with these perceived slights from his family that, in all likelihood, were not nearly as bad as he claims they were? Harry exaggerates things. Even he has admitted that his memory is not to be trusted. So why should we trust anything that is in this book? Well, we shouldn't. Scooby-Doo, though, has been out doing interviews, so he had an interview with the Sunday Times Magazine this weekend, and according to The Sun, he repeated his scathing attack on the firm. He said, "It would take a lot to dismantle the British royal family, but could William be the last king as we know it? Absolutely." He went on to say, "The book isn't hammering the final nail in the coffin, it's just a reality check," end quote. How sickening. How dare Meghan and Harry use their mouthpiece to make these thinly veiled threats against the royal family? We know they're not capable of actually doing anything, but still, how disturbing must it be for King Charles and Prince William to know that this nasty stuff is coming from a member of their own family, a son and a brother no less. It's this kind of thing that makes Harry look absolutely nuts. But, according to Scooby-Doo, it was William who was behind briefings to the press that brother Harry was mentally fragile. Harry himself has stated in multiple interviews that he has mental health problems that he treated with marijuana and magic mushrooms and ayahuasca. It is not William briefing the press that Harry is mentally fragile, it is Harry himself. Does he think we just forgot that already? There's also some just really hateful stuff in the book that didn't need to be told. How dare he call himself a journalist? I mean, in that book, he repeats rumors that are completely unfounded. Apparently, he claims that Charles has a servant squeeze his toothpaste every single day, but The Sun on Sunday already reported that the king just needed help during a short period after breaking an arm in a polo accident. And even if he did have a servant squeeze his toothpaste every day, who cares? Why does Harry have to be so petty? He can't just accept that he destroyed the relationship with his family. He's the one who burned all those bridges, him and Meghan together. But instead of accepting that reality, he has to somehow blame his family. He and Meghan take no responsibility for any of their actions or words. And that's one reason that their reputations are now in the toilet. People don't appreciate that. Most people in this world do have family values. We care about our families. We would never do what Meghan and Harry have done. And then to turn around and claim they're the victims? How insulting. Scooby-Doo also claims that Buckingham Palace aides said before the Queen's death that Charles did not have the moxie or the vision to be king, and he attacks the monarchy as a whole. He describes it as an anachronistic, intolerant organization steeped in bigotry and privilege. Well, it looked like Meghan and Harry didn't have a problem with this organization steeped in bigotry and privilege when they were the ones getting the privilege, right? He goes after William too. He says that William is a hot-headed company man and an heir increasingly uncomfortable with the palace's dirty tricks and the courtiers who dreamed them up. And about Catherine, Scobie wrote, unlike strong-minded Diana, who saddled with a cruel and taxing marriage, proved to be a woman unwilling to fully submit to the royal cause, so far Kate has been a much more teachable, pliable future queen. And that's a bad thing how exactly? I mean, how is it a bad thing that Catherine wanted to fully understand the role that she had married into? She just wants to do a good job. She wants to make sure that she knows what is expected of her as Princess of Wales and later on Queen. That has nothing to do with how pliable Catherine is. That has everything to do with Catherine being smart and prepared. Anyway, this book of lies is coming out on Tuesday, but don't worry, you don't have to buy it, I don't have to buy it either. Other people are going to do that dirty deed for us, and then we'll just get to read the excerpts. And of course, we can talk about all of them together. And you, what do you think of this claim that it's really William and Charles's relationship that is in trouble? Please let me know your opinion below in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching today, and if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and share it. And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.